on everyone. The Los Angeles Lakers did their thing this offseason and got a legit, like, bench five unit. I mean, seriously, you can make an argument for pretty much any five of these guys to be in the starting unit. There are talks about, Jackson Hayes starting, Christian Wood starting, Gabe Vincent starting, right? You got a solid veteran, 3-and-D guy, and Taurean Prince, somebody that the Lakers have been looking for quite some time. Cam Reddish is a great versatile wing that can play multiple positions, very young, can be a part of this Lakers roster and their core for the foreseeable future. The Lakers are in great shape. They added size, they added versatility, they added shooting, they added youth and athleticism. And one of the things that they did was gave themselves a little bit of a logjam, right? So Anthony Davis, based on the reports that have came out, doesn't really want to play center. And yes, you got Jackson Hayes, you got Christian Wood. Both guys are more than capable of playing the center position. Christian Wood is probably more of a 4 than he is a 5, but he is 6'10". He's got, 6'11", 7'3" wingspan. He's a guy that has good length, and he's actually been solid in the past defensively. He's been rough the last few years, but in the right situation, he can buy in, and he has shown that he can play defense. Not going to be elite by any stretch of the imagination, but if you have Anthony Davis at the 4 in that scout role, you'll be fine, right? All he has to do is just be serviceable enough and know that Anthony Davis has got his back. Lakers are in good shape. But you look at the Lakers roster, and it's like all 3s and 4s. And with that, it's going to be very difficult to find minutes for everybody, especially if Anthony Davis wants to play primarily at the 4 spot. So the 5 guys that I believe will be the main sort of guys that get the most rotation minutes are going to be obviously LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's a no-brainer. But then I think Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and Christian Wood. Christian Wood was promised a big role, right? I don't think that they did that without actually meaning it, and it makes sense, especially him as like the primary backup and maybe even starter if AD really does want to play the 4. Rui Hachimura, there's a lot of talk about the Lakers wanting to start Rui. Makes sense. He just got a big contract. He was great for them in the playoffs. He slimmed down a little bit. And yes, most of these guys can play the 3, like Vando, Rui, LeBron. They're capable of playing the 3 guard. Vando, he's been working on his 3-point shot. How good will he be from there? We'll see. Time will tell. Can he be a guy that knocks down a couple 3s a game? That would be nice. But in reality, my guess is he's kind of more of the specialist, right? Late in games or maybe to close games, he plays, and in certain spots, right? Like, the starters are resting, but the other team still has like Luka in the game or something like that. And it's like, okay, let's throw Vando out there and kind of just give him 10 to 15 minutes a game where all he has to do is just basically put all of his energy into defending the best player on the other team. I could see something along those lines. Personally, I think that they should stick with the starters that got them to the Western Conference last year, which was D'Lo, Reeves, Vando, LeBron, and AD. I think that has the best cohesiveness. I think that all of the players kind of fit each other perfectly. D'Lo and Reeves and their ability to play make, but also play off the ball. They're our best 3-point shooters. And then you have Vando and AD who are just elite defensively. LeBron James is, the do-everything guy, superstar, right? And same thing with Anthony Davis. I think that fits the best, but I do think the Lakers will throw different looks out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they try different starting lineups just to see how things work, right? If AD really is he going to start at the 5, right? And then move over to the 4, or are they going to start with like a Jackson Hayes at the 5 and then AD at the 4? I'm really curious to see how that plays out. I'm sure once we get into training camp and stuff, we'll have more information in that regard. But the problem is just minutes, right? Like LeBron's playing at least 30 minutes a game. AD's playing at least 30 minutes a game, right? So like, let's say you play AD 15 minutes at the center position and 15 minutes at the power forward position. That means the 15 minutes that he plays in the power forward position, that leaves 33 minutes of gameplay left over for guys to be at the power forward, right? LeBron, Rui, Vando. Those guys are all capable of playing the 4. Christian Wood. Do you play him next to Jackson Hayes at times? Right? So you got to divvy up the 4 spot amongst, okay, let's say Vando strictly is the 3. Right? Let's say he plays the 3 primarily. And let's say Wood strictly plays the 5. You still have Rui and LeBron that you're going to have to get minutes at the 4 for. And you got basically 33 minutes between them. Okay, well then let's say you play 15 minutes and 15 minutes of Rui and LeBron at the 4 spot, right? Well, that means another 15 minutes each are going to be spent at the 3, right? Or like, let's say you play Rui 5 minutes. So let's say he starts at the 3, right? So he plays 15 minutes at 3 and then 5 at the 4. Right? So then you still only have 13 minutes at the 4 spot. So, and I haven't even gotten to a Taurean Prince and Cam Reddish. Right? So is Taurean Prince only going to play like 5 minutes a game? Is that what's going to happen here? Cam Reddish, very likely, my guess is he's the odd man out entirely. Right? I think he might play in spots, right? There's going to be games where LeBron doesn't play. There are going to be games where AD doesn't play. There are going to be games where, Christian Wood might not play, whatever, right? So there'll be moments and opportunity for everybody in spots. But I mean, regularly, if there's only, 5 minutes left over a game or 7 minutes left over a game at the 4 spot, then so Taurean Prince is going to play the 4, right? But let's say you play LeBron and Rui primarily at the 3. So then that means what? Vando's never going to play? Or Vando's only going to play like 5 minutes a game, and he's your best on-ball defender. He might be the best in the league. It's going to be very tricky for the Lakers to navigate and figure this out because you literally have like 8 guys that you need to find minutes for that all play basically the same positions, right? And so good thing is not everybody minutes are going to have to be super high. Also, with Taurean Prince, you could play him at the 2 in spots, right? But let's say Reeves spends 30 minutes at the 2 guard, right? D'Lo, I imagine, is going to play probably around 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. And I imagine he's going to spend some time at the 2 guard also. So, again, like, the 2 guard, yes, is the one spot that I think you can find guys minutes. And maybe that's what the Lakers do with Taurean Prince. Because he is a legit veteran 3-and-D guy who can guard multiple positions, isn't afraid of the moments, right? Like, he's a guy that I could see the Lakers closing games with because he's so valuable. Does like the closing unit look like Reeves, maybe Prince, Vando, AD, and LeBron and AD? Is that something that you do, or do you not go with Vando when he's your best defensive guy? And maybe you go, like I said, maybe you stick with the same and swap Vando for LeBron and then have Wood to close games? I don't know. It's tough. Could you find Prince 10 minutes a game, maybe 12 minutes a game because he can play the 2? So, you give him like 5 minutes at the 2, you give him 5 minutes at the 4, and then like 2 minutes at the 3 or something like that. I think the only way I think this will work, and I made a video specifically about this, is I think you have to go a majority of the game running positionless basketball. Right? So you have units out there that are like LeBron, Rui, Vando, Wood, and Reeves, right? Something like that, where you have your 2 ball handlers are Reeves and LeBron, and for position's sake, LeBron's playing the point guard or the 2 guard, but in reality, it's like he's gonna defend the 4, or he's gonna defend the 3. Vando's gonna be the guy that's defending the 2 guard or the point guard or whatever, whichever is the best, right? Like that kind of thing. That's the only way I really see this working, is you basically are just throwing 5-man units out there, always making sure you have like a ball handler out there, right? And I could even see LeBron kind of playing point guard at times. I know he doesn't really want to do that, but it's like, how else do you make that work? Like, if you have LeBron playing the point guard, then if you wanted to, you could go like LeBron, Prince, Rui, Davis, and Hayes, or even like Vando, Rui, and Hayes, right? If AD's getting some rest, or like Wood and Rui, right? Where you have basically LeBron as the point guard and everyone is just shooters except for Vando, and he's like the guy that's the best defender that's guarding the best player. Darvin Ham is going to have his work cut out for him. Like, Darvin Ham, I don't envy him this year. He has the roster. There's no excuse. The Lakers should be one of the best teams in the entire league. They should be a top defense team, top offense team. They should be... This is a championship or bust roster, championship or bust season. There's no other way around it. If the Lakers don't win the championship this year, it's a disappointment. They have the depth, the talent, the size, the shooting, the versatility. They have everything you could ask for and need. Darvin Ham has to put it together, but he has his job cut out for him. He's going to earn his salary this year. Where last year it was like, at times it was like, who do I go with? Like, what units do I go out there? Not because it was like there was so much talent. It's because it's like we didn't really have much. All of our talent were all guards, right? It wasn't all forwards. So it was like all guards. So we were like tiny, but it was like these are literally the 5 best players. It's like, who else? Like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, Damian Jones is unplayable. Thomas Bryant is the worst defensive big in the entire league. That's not an opinion. That was a literal statistical fact, right? It's like, and then everyone else is like Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder and, Kendrick Nunn. And it's just like what was he supposed to do? Where this year, it's like, who do I play? Because it's like, you got so much options, so much depth, so much talent. It's a spot to be in for sure. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on here. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think that this is a big problem? Again, it's a good problem to have, right? It's not a bad problem to have, but I still think it's a problem because you're going to have to manage egos. You're going to have to manage people's, everyone's going to have to be willing to buy in and believe and strive for this goal and all. And they're all young, right? If this was a roster full of like veteran, like not like veteran, like that one year where we had like Carmelo and Dwight and all that stuff, where everyone was basically 36. Like, no. I'm talking about like if we had a bunch of like, 27, 28-year-old, like a bunch of Torian Prince age guys, right? Guys that are like borderline 30, where everyone, like, they just want to win a championship. They've had their moments where they've gotten, big minutes and all that stuff. They just want to win at this point. But you have a lot of like mid 20-year-olds that have a lot to prove that want to win. Yes, but they also want to show what they can do. Right? You got Jackson Hayes, who he's playing for a contract. Christian Wood, he's playing for a contract. Right? You got Cam Reddish, he's playing for a contract. You got a lot of guys that are out here trying to play for something. I mean, even Max Christie, he's due for a contract, right? So it's going to be interesting. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. So again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know.